Hey there, beautiful soul. My name is Nicole Antoinette, and I am a psychic medium. In this video, I want to share with you the most common messages that come through during psychic mediumship readings. Now, as you watch this video, you might notice that certain messages feel as if they're for you. You might feel as if your loved one is coming through using this video to get a message across. And if that's the sensation you have, I want you to go with it, because it's very common for spirits to use functions, or to use, I should say, tools such as videos and radios to get their messages across. So if you feel a tingling sensation, or you feel a breeze, or you even just feel this sensation in your heart or in your stomach, that's a really good indication that this message was meant for you. The message that comes across the most in spirit communication is, I love you. Your loved ones who have transitioned into the spirit world are still wanting to be a part of your life. They are still loyal to you. They are still fond of you. They still cherish their memories with you. And they still think back to the times that the two of you had together. They think back at those precious moments where you maybe grabbed coffee together, went to the movies, or went to the park, or you spent hours on the phone, or you guys were neck deep in an important project. Or you stayed up talking into the late hours of the night discussing philosophy, or discussing things like the afterlife, crystals, pendulums. All of those things that were taboo were things that you could speak openly to this person about. And so they remember that. They love those memories. And when you remember those same memories, when you think about them, and your mind goes to a place that was precious, they want you to know that they are there reliving that memory with you too, because they love you. So that's the first message that comes through the most, is that they love you. The second one that comes up frequently is that they are still with you. Your loved ones in spirit are still around you. They're watching over you every moment of every day. This doesn't mean that they're stuck or that they're earthbound. They may have crossed over completely, but spirit is able to be in several places at once, and they just move through time differently than we do. Their concept of time, their concept of space is vastly different from our understanding and our reality. And they are able to be both in heaven and in spirit and be right beside you. And they're usually still a part of your daily life. Now, granted, the dynamics have changed, but usually you're still talking to them and sending out thoughts and sending out messages to their frequency, and they're picking it up. And it is very usual for a spirit to come through during a reading and to tell someone about something they had done just the day before, or 5 minutes to the call. In fact, I once had a session where spirit had come through and had told my client, or told me, and I told the client that, yeah, spirit is here, your father is here, and he's mentioning that you just put on the sweater that your mom gave you for Christmas last year. And she gasped, and she actually screamed in my ear. It actually hurt my ear a little bit. And she was like, how could you have known that? It's like, well, I didn't, but your loved one did. And so they'll do things like that to prove that they're still around you, that they're still near you. And while that's how that message comes through in a psychic mediumship reading, the way that it'll come through for you is through a synchronicity, or a song will come up on your playlist that you forgot about, and it'll be an older song. So you'll be doing the dishes and thinking about them, and then all of a sudden some type of song comes up, or the TV turns on. There will be something that proves that they're still with you. Another message that comes through frequently is that they are happy, that they're okay. When someone you love transitions to the other side, the means of that transition are sometimes traumatic. It could be through a disease that wrecked their body. It could be through an accident. It could even be old age, but just watching them decline and go through that experience is really sad. It's hard for us to watch. So we think, well, how much more difficult is it for them to be going through that? So when they get to the other side, they're fine. They're not having to deal with those physical issues anymore. They're in a new body, they're energetic, they're feeling good. And so they want you to know that they are okay, that they're doing fantastic. So their body is healthy now. Their body is usually young. They'll usually choose a younger figure than what they had when they originally passed away. So usually they'll show themselves in their 20s or their 30s when they're showing that they're healthy. Whatever type of illness or extremely stressful situation held them down is no longer on their shoulders. So they usually want their loved ones to know that they're very happy and that they are in fact okay. In fact, they're better than okay. They're doing great. Sometimes when someone transitions, we feel guilty for something we did or something we didn't do, for the things we said and the things we didn't say. You may wish that you said, I love you more. You may wish that you had spent more time with them. You may look back at how the years had passed and you maybe had no contact with them or not much contact. And so when news of their passing hits, it can be really traumatic. When that happens, we work through our grief and we feel our grief in a completely different way. At least that's how it feels to us. It becomes very personal. Grief is a personal experience anyway, but when there's guilt associated with it, it feels heavier, right? It hinders us and hangs around us a little differently. And you want so desperately for them to know how sorry you are. And this comes through a lot in my sessions with different people. And Spirit has never denied the request for forgiveness. So when Spirit comes through, their message is always, I forgive you. Not only do I forgive you, I understand. I understand the situation. I understand the circumstances. I forgive you. I don't blame you for living your life. I don't blame you for choosing to shut me out and walk away from me for a while when I was toxic. That was actually a good choice. I don't blame you. And a lot of times, Spirit will take on the responsibility for whatever took place between the two of you. So if you feel like you didn't call enough or you weren't more present for them, a lot of times they'll stand up and say, well, I didn't call them much either. Or they weren't really in a place where they could give me the type of attention that I wanted at the time. Or I wasn't really nice to them during that point in time. So I understand why they needed to take a step back. In fact, one person even came through and said, well, I know that I'm the reason my child was in therapy all of her adult life. Like, I understand why she had to cut ties with me. So the message from Spirit is always, I forgive you and I understand. They are not holding on to any type of grudge on the other side. They do not wish you ill. They are not upset with you. They are not disappointed in you. They understand. They see things from a different place now. Their perception changes. So they do become more loving, more understanding, more sympathetic, compassionate, and empathic to the entire situation that may have kept you apart or that just allowed things to play out differently. Know that Spirit is on the other side and they've already forgiven you. To them, there's no debt that needs to be paid. To them, there is no real reason to be sorry. Similarly, another message that comes through is that they are sorry. They're sorry for not spending enough time with you. They are sorry for not being the person that you needed them to be. They may be sorry for how they treated you when you were younger. They may be sorry that when you spoke up about how they hurt you or how they weren't fulfilling your needs, that they were cold about it. They maybe laughed it off, or they apologized and did the same thing again later. They didn't take you seriously. There's a lot of things that come up in a mediumship reading because relationships are complicated and the dynamics are complicated sometimes. And every once in a while, you'll have someone who was very narcissistic or just very oblivious and very cold in life. And when they get to the other side, they realize the things that they did wrong. And they feel it. They acknowledge that they could have been more and should have been more for you. And they will be the first to list their dirty laundry. If someone you love, someone you cared about, whether it's someone that you loved at the time of their passing, or maybe that love faded away and there were still some wounds that you wish had been healed before they passed, know that your forgiveness is just as important to them as their apology is to you. So know that on the other side, they still have emotions. And so they still hunger for forgiveness, because forgiveness can be healing, right? They want to know that you're going to be okay. They want you to be able to continue through life without allowing the harm of the past to hover over you. So in a lot of ways, they need that forgiveness so that they can heal too. So it's very common for Spirit to come through and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, please forgive me. One of the things that come through frequently from parental figures and really in family dynamics, every once in a while you'll get it from a friend, or if it's a friend, it's going to be like a best friend. But family members come through so frequently, not just to say, I love you, but to say, I'm proud of you. You are doing so good. I'm proud of you because you have been through things that I can't even imagine. I'm proud of you for the person that you've become and that you're becoming. I'm proud of you for the way that you're breaking toxic family cycles. I am proud of you for the way that you are being a better mom to your kids than I was to you. I'm proud of you for following your dreams. I'm proud of you for following a spiritual path that didn't make sense to me, but clearly made sense to you. I am proud of you. Even if in your immediate family, you never got the sense that your parents or your siblings or your aunt or your uncle or whoever was proud of you, 9 times out of 10, when they come through in a reading, they will start boasting about the amazing things that this person did. Spirit will come through and they will brag about you. Like, they will talk about all of your best attributes. They will talk about all the crap that you put up with from them. Or they'll talk about how you had the heart of gold, or how you did a great job standing up for yourself, or how you were always the people, I want to say pleaser, but more like the people peacer in the family. And by that, I mean, you were the one that was always trying to initiate peace. Like you were the middleman that was really trying to get everyone to calm down and get along, right? So there's different qualities about you, different characteristics about you that may have been overlooked most of your life or your entire life. And Spirit will come through and let you know how proud they are of you. Even if your loved ones on the other side did verbalize how proud they were of you while they were still here, it's still something that comes up frequently. They still want you to know how lucky they were to not only know you, but to be related to you. Like, it's a big deal. So just know that regardless of where you are in the grief process, regardless of what may have taken place in your past between you and your loved ones, on the other side, They understand so much. They understand what you've been through. They understand the lens that you are seeing the world through. They understand how you're interpreting your experiences around you. They understand your personality a little bit more. So if you're more sensitive, or if you're more stubborn, if you're a dreamer, if you're more analytical, if you're more charismatic, whatever it is that you are, they understand it now. Even if those personalities kind of clashed when they were here, that's not going to be the case anymore. They get it. They love you and they're proud of you. Last but not least, Spirit wants you to know that you are going to be okay. Grief is a tremendously difficult experience. It sometimes feels like it's ripping your soul apart. And when you're in the midst of grief, when you miss someone, it's hard to know what the next step is, because you sometimes don't know how to go about life without them. Or maybe your grief isn't so much connected to the loss of your loved one in spirit as it is to some type of loss that you're experiencing with your job, with your health, with your finances, with your career. Because life changes all the time, and life has this way of pulling the rug out from under us. And so when we're grieving the loss of someone we love, and there's something else happening on top of that, that's really difficult. And we find ourselves saying things like, I don't know how to get through this without you. I don't know how I'm going to do this on my own. I don't know how I'm going to raise these kids. I don't know how I'm going to pay these bills. I don't know how I'm going to find the energy to feel better when all I want to do is transition so I can be with you again. Like, how am I supposed to do this? And Spirit always comes through and they always say, you're going to be okay. I believe in you. You're going to be just fine. If you really take a moment to let those words sink in and to really feel them and to feel the compassion and the faith that Spirit has when they say these to you, it feels like a weight is lifted and you find yourself having a little bit of hope and maybe getting a glimpse of a future where you are okay, and not just okay, where you're good, where things don't feel as heavy anymore, where you still miss your loved one, your loved ones, and you're still sad that they're not here in the physical plane, but maybe you've learned a new way to connect with them, to feel them, to sense their presence, and you're able to create a brighter future, not without them, but just with them being in a different state of existence than they were before, meaning that they're on the spirit plane now, you're in the physical plane, but you still have a connection with them, and knowing that somehow gets you through the day and gets you to a brighter future. So Spirit does want you to know you're going to be okay. And honestly, their dream isn't just for you to be okay. They want you to thrive. They want you to do well. They want you to follow a path that makes you happy. And yes, a lot of them want to be remembered too. So if you're someone who decides that you're going to take up running and you want to run a half marathon or a full marathon, or you want to do one of those nationwide runs, your loved one loves that idea and they would love to be a part of it. So if you were to sign up for a nonprofit run that benefits an organization and you use their name and do this in their memory, that's something that they love, right? They love when we remember them and when we make them a part of our current experience, because they don't want to be a part of our past any more than we want them to be a part of our past. They want to be a part of our present, and they want to stay active with us in the future. And that's a really happy thought. I can't think of a better word for happy, but it is. It's a happy thought. So If you would like to learn how you can communicate with your loved ones on your own without a medium and without any psychic powers, or even if you're not all that intuitive, but you want to be able to make a connection on your own, check out this video over to the side. It shows you how to make communication cards that allow you to communicate with your loved ones directly. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.